Have you who was the guy that contacted you? Like what capacity was that?
Oh no, he was just from my old card gaming group at uni. He was one of my friends from that, and he was like, "Do you think they'll I saw your video. Do you think they'll retcon the Timeless Child?"
Ooh, we could talk about that. Well, give it your
Do you
opinion.
think they will?
No.
I feel like it's such a big swing, and with the hit they've made, it's like if you sort of backtrack from that,
It looks
even
bad on your brand.
if you didn't like the ending, it sort of takes away from the moment, from the drama, from what you've set up for the character. So it's a bit like, It seems like it's so big a thing that to sort of take it away or retcon it would be a bit like,
It becomes very difficult to counteract something like that once it's known.
Yeah,
exactly. And you hugely risk like dividing the fan base, like because for example, I would love them to do the original episode 9 that they were gonna do, but then you risk dividing the fan base. The people that really loved this film and the people who really loved that version of the film, and then it's just so hard to kind of canonize yourself. Like what fan base do we cater to? So if they were to retcon it, you'd have the people be like, but I actually, because I'm sure they exist, I'm sure you guys both know people that really liked what they did with the Doctor in that episode, with that in terms of lore and everything.
I think Council of Geeks put it best. It's best for concepts like this to be forgotten about in the future rather than to be directly retconned, because then if you return to the disliked thing, then it puts it back in the forefront of the public eye for further scrutiny, whilst alternatively you can just forget about it and it can get buried.
Because in, say, 20, 30 years time, if they're still doing Doctor Who, like, they can, and most people might have forgotten it by then, I don't know. And plus, given production times, 20, 30 years might only be 2 seasons.
Okay, no. What an awful show that would be. Hey, see you in 15 years, guys.
Yeah.
I imagine it'll stay rather prominent though throughout the rest of the Chibnall era, because he's clearly got an end game planned.
Yeah.
So for as long as he's in charge, the Timeless Child will still be a thing that we'll have to think about. And then when he moves on, and whoever comes in next, then it'll probably, be swept under the carpet a little bit.
How long's Chibnall been around?
He would have taken over mid-2017. 2017 was Capaldi's last series.
Capaldi, okay.
But he didn't write for Capaldi. Like, he was setting up Jodie's stuff while Capaldi's was still on.
And plus, people like Moffat and Chibnall wrote episodes pre their tenure as showrunner, didn't they?
Yeah.
So during Davis's era, they did write the odd episode.
Chibbers only wrote for one for Russell. That was 42, but he did most of Torchwood.
So how long would Chibnall be around now? I know it's kind of hard to say. Maybe it's just like a career kind of thing, or if there is like an end game to it. Like once Jodie is done, do you think he would then step back?
Not necessarily. I mean, both Russell and Moffat had 2 Doctors under their belts.
Okay.
Well, unless you're John Nathan Turner, where you have like half of all the classic Doctors under your belt.
I doubt Doctor Who back then was the titan it is today. Well, was.
No, in Tom Baker's era.
If you asked Joe Schmo what classic Doctor Who is, they're more than likely to think it was only Tom Baker, you know what I mean?
If you asked Joe Schmo what New Who would be, they'd say David Tennant.
Yes, definitely, yeah.
What's your favourite Doctor, Anthony?
Classic era, Peter Davidson. Because, like, even Eccleston, even though he was only around for 1 series, he was really good.
He was really good. I agree.
What episodes come to mind in particular? Like, Dalek is great. He's great in that. Is it the Doctor Dances? The one with the gas mask?
Yeah, the Empty Child and the Doctor Dances, yeah.
And for, like, a really positive Doctor Who episode, like, you get to see him happy.
Father's Day.
For the Doctor, yeah.
So good. It makes me cry, that one does.
a lot of ones that do make me cry are the last few minutes of David's regeneration scene in End of Time, like right at the end, like, and he's sort of struggling towards the TARDIS, and he gets in, and he's like, I don't want to go.
But the thing about Father's Day is because it's a story about a young girl who lost her dad when she was still, like a toddler or whatever. And this whole story is about her trying to reconnect with this person who's almost like a mythical figure in her life. This person who she has such a strong bond to, but she's never met. She's only experienced him through the stories that her mum's told her. And, in my own writing, I've got characters that are in very similar situations. And it's a thing that really strikes a chord with me, this such powerful connection that your protagonist can have with a family figure who they don't really know, but who they long to know. And the bitter sweetness of it, that they can only meet them on their final day of life. So no matter what they do, they shall still be robbed away from them. So they have these very precious hours to connect with this figure who means so damn much to them. And it's heart-wrenching and it's beautiful. And the acting that they do in that episode is sublime. And I could gush about it for hours and hours and hours.
Is that your favorite episode ever?
Not ever, but it's up there.
On the emotional level, maybe your most impactful episode?
Possibly, yeah.
I mean, but the ones that make me cry, funny enough, are mostly the regeneration ones.
I love Capaldi's regeneration. I love the speech he gives. I think it's that for me. I know what you're saying. Like, the regeneration is always so good, but here's
what's the one where Matt regenerates called?
Time of the Doctor.
That's it. That one made me cry as well. Especially the speech about like breath on a mirror. Yeah, breath on a mirror, and
we're all different people all through our lives, and that's okay. That's good. You got to keep moving so long as you remember all the people that you used to be.
Favorite new, Peter Capaldi at the minute.
I like Capaldi.
My favorite new Who is pretty clearly Tennant.
I think a lot of people join you.
So I talk like him and everything. So, but then again, like my classic fluctuates a tiny bit, and it's kind of a tie between two. I want to give special mention to Eccleston because he's fantastic.
Yeah.
He is.
I also want to give special mention to John Hurt because the Big Finish is amazing.
I'm missing out because I read the book Engines of War, and I watched the anniversary one, obviously. I think I need to get into the Big Finish stuff, man.
Please do, it's so good. So my favourite classic Doctors are Paul McGann. Again, based on his Big Finish. And then also Colin Baker, based on his Big Finish. If I'm going via Classic Who as Classic Who and not any of the expanded media, then it might be it probably might be Tom. I used to really like Sylvester McCoy. Not as much now, but still mad respect to him. But in terms of the expanded media, Colin and Paul, that's so good. So there's a consistent streak for me from Doctors 8 to 10, which are brilliant.
I'm surprised no one said Ted Baker.